Hello, everyone. This is Dave with Moonride. I am channeling the Man in the Moon, and he's actually suggested that I ask this question of him, and it's about happiness. So, the question I am going to ask is how can people get and maintain more happiness in their lives? Hmm. Well, one funny thing is you might check the video here on money. Money isn't directly tied to happiness, but there is a component of happiness that is connected to money, and the advice on money is very similar to the advice on happiness. All these patterns begin in childhood. The pattern of whether you're going to be happy or sad begins when you're very young, right? And if you're in good relationships with people like your parents, that is going to be a very strong influence on whether you're happy or sad. Mountains and mountains of scientific information might back this up. But the important thing for the regular person who doesn't really have time to study psychotherapy for 4 years is just to think about those relationships and see, if there's anything missing. And if there is something missing, what can you do to fix it? One thing that you can do to fix it if you are feeling some unhappiness is just to talk to people, tell them, remember those things that happened, even if they're extremely painful, because you cannot bury them forever. Bring them to the surface. Um, Understand that as you're doing that, it might be extremely painful, but you will feel better. After it's done, you'll feel a lot better. Things will really open up. For some of us, it might take a good deal of time to wade through each of these events and sort of see what it means. The more you feel comfortable talking about unpleasant experiences with a close person who's really listening to you, the better. It's not a question of getting a solution to some kind of problem. You just need to let somebody know, hey, this happened. I'm very unhappy about it. Um, it's also really important to notice, what was good. Maybe you did have an unpleasant childhood or unpleasant relationships, but were there any aspects of that were positive? What did you learn from that negative experience? Did you learn, for example, I'll never treat a kid that way because I was treated that way and it was wrong? That's an important lesson for you to learn. That's an important thing for you to know. And one thing that's very important is whether your life is full of difficulty or it's easy, it's great if you embrace it, right? And it sounds pretty difficult. It's pretty harsh to say, hey, embrace this unhappy life that you have just had. Isn't it great? But, you are a consciousness. You experienced something. You carry that experience forward. That is a valuable thing. And don't let anybody tell you it isn't a valuable thing. It's not a punishment. You didn't experience that because you have some bad karma or you're doomed or fated to experience those things. And to say, understand what happened to you doesn't mean that it was easy, right? The point is that it wasn't easy. It was hard. And you went through that and you survived that and you learned what happened to you when you looked at it again. That's all valuable. It's all part of a conscious trajectory towards a certain direction. The most important thing to do is to understand your life well enough to know that some of these things were just learning experiences. There's no, not necessarily productive to spend time blaming and blaming and blaming, or not productive at all to blame yourself. So move forward with this. Just just go, and there doesn't have to be some ultimate I am a success because I now have, a perfect family and the perfect house and the perfect job. That's not anybody who was sitting in that position would tell you nothing but um, the same problems that anybody else has, right? If they're not really, close to themselves, they might complain just like the poorest homeless person in the most terrible country, right? Um, you have to take a step back from this and just see, it's my life, and it is an accomplishment because I lived it. It's an accomplishment because it's mine and it is my creation. Nobody else had this life, me. I did it. And don't worry about mistakes. Look, you guys are always worrying about mistakes and I did this wrong and you beat yourself up for years. I screwed up on the tax return and that caused X to happen. Look, mistakes are mistakes, and your life would be completely boring if there were no mistakes and no errors. So just make the mistake and then go, "Oh, yeah, I made a mistake," and move on. Maybe some people are gonna harsh on you for doing this. Just move away from such people. They're not helping you. They're That's a self interest on their part, and it's a self interest by knocking you down, which is another thing. Move away from such people. Move away from people who will knock you down. They need to support you or leave. And when we say support, we mean 100% support. They don't support you in ways that you need. Address them and tell them for their own learning. That will be very helpful for you because again, you'll have acted into a void. You'll have created something. You'll have stated your truths. The person who's hearing you will remember that maybe for the rest of their lives. You will have changed that person. And if they continue doing these behaviors, just don't call them. Just stop. End the relationship. You don't owe these people anything. The people that you owe something to are the people that are kind, listen to you without judgment. Maybe they don't even give you any advice. They're just listening. Those are the people that you want around you. Um, don't employ toxic people around you. Don't employ them. They're just going to cause the same crazy conundrum that is America's political system right now. It just don't there's nothing productive about arguing with someone who has no interest in your success. It's just a distraction. Have the confidence to know within yourself who you are and move on what anybody else's criticism. This doesn't mean walk all over people. You should be just as kind as you want people to be kind to you. But mm, don't don't keep such people around you. They'll just take and take and take. And there's a lot of dysfunction going on where they're giving you something and then you're taking something, and it's this sort of uneven relationship where things are being pushed and pulled. You want to do your best to get out of such relationships and be self-determining, not dependent on another, or at least if the person that you're dependent on if you depend on someone, make sure that they're a good person, and that they're doing what they're doing in a fair and equal manner, and they're not doing it to manipulate you. This might take some time to work out, um, but just make a point to do it, and it might take a little bit of time, and um, you know, if you put your mind to it, you can really clean this up. All right. Anything else, Great Spirit? Anything else about happiness? Spread it around. Yeah, spread it around. You spread that happiness around to people, and they will spread it back to you. It'll come back. You never know that one word of kindness that you say to somebody that could change the world. That one moment where you had the opportunity to stop one child from bullying another in a really nice way, that reverberates through the universe just forever. All right, it reverberates right back to you. You'll notice that if you do kind things to people, um, the kind things will be done for you. Don't be a doormat. Don't keep doing kind things to somebody that's just going to walk all over you. That's not helping the universe. You're just supporting somebody who's learning that they can take advantage. But if you walk into a situation with a total stranger who owes you nothing and you know owe them nothing, and you just, give them a smile or, try to do this once a day. Try to do something nice for somebody just once a day. Just completely, just a nice thing to do with nothing in return. Maybe it's somebody you do not know, and watch what happens. Watch if this doesn't increase, and if it does increase, then maybe you want to do that twice a day, and then maybe you might find yourself conducting your life in a way of kindness. The difficulty is those people often get walked all over, and we see such people being taken advantage of, and we don't want to be like them. At the same time, here I am, this really nice person, and I am always getting kicked around, so it's not helping. No, you must be kind in the right way at the right time. It is also a kindness to say no to someone. If you are being bullied at work, if you're being treated in a bad way by somebody who has power over you, it's important to calmly speak your truth to that power. You'll be doing yourself a favor and you'll be doing them a favor by letting them know people have limits. And maybe that person has never learned that, and you'll be teaching them that lesson. Try to do this without getting hot headed. Just stay calm. Just be as calm as you can, because that way no one can say to you, oh, look how crazy he is. Look how crazy she is. She's just gone off the handle. Blah, blah, blah. She's always like that. No. If you calmly deliver the message that you have to such people, they are much more likely to listen. And even more importantly, the people around you will say, wow, look how calm that person is. I trust them. Yeah, he says that's all you need to know for now. All right. Thanks for watching.